Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. And with me this afternoon, I have with me a very special guest. He goes by the name of Paul Disparra. Paul, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm blessed, doing very well, Michael. Great to see and hear from you.
Great to see you and hear from you as well. Paul, the reason why I wanted you on the show
Oh,
is because I want maybe to dispel some myths or something along the line of when we're talking about officiating. I've been refereeing now for about over 40 years. I no longer do high school, junior college anymore because I'm old as dirt and I had two major hip surgeries. But when I saw your videos, I saw how your demeanor and the way you conducted yourself with your students, clients, etc. And I was so intrigued by that. I said I could have him on my show. So, Paul, if you could do me a favor and let the viewers know a little bit about your background, your history, and where it leads you to what you're doing right now.
yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to connect with you and your audience. I'm loving your graphics and your name and everything about the show so far. So great job there. Um, I am 45 years old. I live in White Plains, New York. Married, two children. I'm a physical education teacher by trade. I've been doing that 13 years. So extremely happy and satisfied with my full-time career, which led me to officiating in about 2011 is when I took the class. So I became a basketball official then. I have been an official, a working basketball official since then, trying to move up the ranks, as we like to say, and
Mhm.
currently working college and high school, and super happy with my career there and where I'm at in my journey there. Started Crown Refs in 2018 as an educational platform for basketball officials to learn, grow, connect, get trained, support one another, learn about other official stories from around the world, because it's important. I think it's helpful when you hear and see other officials who are going through similar things that we all go through, on this journey of being a ref, all right, which takes us through a lot of different lanes and a lot of stops. And so I've, been in love with officiating, which inspired me to really start this platform that I've been trying to grow ever since day one. And I'm blessed that I feel like it really has grown like every single day since I started, one by one, right? Just trying to connect with other refs that love the craft. You obviously love the craft. You've been officiating, you said 40 years,
Over.
and now you're doing a podcast about it. So
Yes.
I don't have to tell you about the craft. So not everyone loves it because it's not a full time job for most, right? So you can't pump the passion into officials. We have to cover games, right? But there are a certain percentage like us and your listeners, my community, that really love this and just want to get better year round, want to help the next official who's coming up. So,
Paul, can you discuss a little bit about Crown Refs, how it started, how it originated, and where it's at right now? And the viewers who are maybe tuning in might be interested as well.
sure. So it started on YouTube back in 2018. I started my first show called The Basketball Shop. It was me and another gentleman named Mr. Pink, who was my co-teacher in physical education at the time, who happened to be another ref. So that everyday interaction of having a full-time job with another gentleman, having a partner, where your full-time job is phys ed and your night job is refing. So that created a special dynamic between us. And we already had one leading into that because I had known Mr. Pink from the previous decade. He played college basketball with my brother. So it was like it was a full circle moment, I think, where I was a PE teacher by myself for the first 8 years of my career, solo dolo. So then when this gentleman comes along, who's another ref, it's like, wow, this is getting really good because we're having these enriching conversations every single day. And then that's when it hit me like, okay, this needs to be captured. This needs to be recorded. And I had just kind of started making videos at the time, not referee related. So my skill set was developing as a content creator. So I think I merged two lanes in 2018 when I started the show, and with Mr. Pink, that collaboration. And then that led to content, that led to podcasts, that led to being on multiple channels, right? We're doing this show on StreamYard. It's probably streaming to multiple platforms. If you really want to grow your audience, you can't just be on one channel. So I've been
Right.
trying to always develop my portfolio per se of content, of platforms, of channels, of means of distribution. And that's been a work in progress. That takes time and that evolves over time. So in 2018, really started the content and developing the podcast. 2019, launched a service, a film review service for basketball officials to be able to review their film and give them really enhanced, deep, comprehensive feedback on their game, which was not available, nor still is not available, besides where we offer it. That really launched, and once that service was launched, it really launch the community. You hear me say the word community, and the community is just the relationships of people that we have that are in Crown Refs that I've been building one by one. Where one day I realized in 2021 I wanted to put everybody together, and that was because of this IPR service, which I've done 72 film reviews. It's a, you know, I sent it back in an email. It's a very detailed report on their skill set and their game. So that was 2019. Pandemic hit 2020, and that's really when I stepped the content game up even more because I had this service where I was interacting with these officials and having these follow up Zoom calls, and that became a content pillar. And my show called Game Notes, or a new show that we had called Game Notes. And that's like our longest running show. There's probably 50 episodes on my podcast that are called Game Notes. And these are all these one-to-one film breakdowns. So that really catapulted the podcast for 2020. And in the pandemic, as everyone had dialed it back and was becoming more active on social and on computers and on phones and on the internet, right? So, and then that 2020 led to the community launch and the private program and the family of officials and the membership infrastructure now that I have with Crown Refs and Patreon and Discord, and then our live sessions, and then so 2021 allowed me to start this program, this this training program and community through the platform of Patreon and Discord, like I mentioned. Um, so that was really fun launching that because I kind of went quiet towards the end or towards the very beginning of 2021 because I was building the platform out and getting all of the website and a lot of background work that had to be done. But once that was launched, that was really a new era in what I'm doing now because then it was new people joining, becoming part of the team. There's weekly training sessions, and then there's all this new movement and new information and collaboration and people connecting from the community and friendships being built and relationship building and just great information sharing, right? Like we're all here to get better, and I think now we're able to provide that place and that community and that those platforms to be able to pair like-minded individuals. So since 2021, I've been really focused on the community and growing that the right way, year by year, individual by individual. I set up a lot of calls on my drive to work because I commute 2 hours a day, hour down, hour back. So that's a good time to plan a lot of my calls. And And I usually, speak to every member who joins for like at least 30 minutes beforehand. So I think it really sets a great framework and that cohesion and really fills them in also on all the things that we're doing too. Because it's not like that easy where, oh, I just join and voila, like what am I doing now? Where do I go? So
Mhm.
there's a lot of that onboarding that I do to new members as well, which takes a lot to be able to do it the right way. But I'm patient with it. I'm not in a rush to like blow up overnight and have 1,000 people join overnight, which would be great. But I want to do it step by step. So it's organic, so it's real, so it's sustainable, so it's lasting, so people tell their community about it. Um, so that's where we're at now. I mean, I could go on for a ton more, but just to give you kind of a perspective of where we're at, and right now we're launching the scholarship, or excuse me, we're in year 4 of our scholarship. So we also give away scholarship money to members of our community. So this
Mhm.
year we've opened it up to for other members to donate. So I think we got about $1,500, and I'll pick the winners April 1st. And so just sorry to ramble, but just wanted to give you the
Not
full
at
rundown.
all. Well, Paul, now I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you because I've seen your videos and y'all great. So this is not geared towards me. But when you began, first of all, I think you must have a depth of conviction and confidence to go out there and do videos
Mm.
with aspiring officials and going over what you do so very well, by the way, improving their officiating skills and mechanics and etc. What or when did you decide that, hey, look, I'm pretty damn good at what I'm doing and I can give my knowledge and help others? What made you decide, damn it, I'm gonna do some damn videos? I can do this.
Mm. Thanks for the question. Thank you. I think if I just kind of look back before Crown Refs, yeah, 2017, I started making videos on Snapchat, like funny, what I thought were hilarious videos about being a phys ed teacher, about trying to eat healthy, about working out, about a little bit about riffing, just me being a clown. But
Okay.
I'm producing. I'm starting to like create. I'm starting to use the tools. Starting to use the effects, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty fun. This is. I'm spending an hour editing a 10-second video. Like, what is going on here? My wife's looking at me like, you're still editing that little 10-second
Right.
video you in the kitchen, and I'm like, and I didn't really know where it was going at the time, but I was enjoying myself. I was having fun, right? So I was finding a passion, a new passion. So I think when you really love something and you have fun, you could go far and do a lot with it. So that was definitely a building block. And then Mr. Pink, as I mentioned,
Hmm.
once he stepped in, I I had started Crown Reps 5 months before Mr. Pink. Funny name, right, Mr. Pink? But that's what everyone from the from back in the day remembers, Mr. Pink. When did you first follow?
Wow.
Do
About
you
over a year ago.
Okay, yeah. You should when you get a chance, scroll back to some of the early YouTubes. I think you'll get a kick out of
I
our
will. I
videos with
definitely
Mr.
will.
Pink. Yeah, so I started Crown Refs March 2018, and then I didn't start working with Mr. Pink since November 2018. So there was that 5 month period where I didn't really know what I was doing. I wasn't making a lot of videos yet. I was doing more picture content, using more text and images, and there really wasn't a clear direction. But I knew I wanted to start creating and building something. So, but as soon as he came, I said, I'm ready to I'm ready to be a guru at this. I feel like I could be a guru at this. Like, and I don't even want to use the word like that. I'm very humble, but I know I have something special to offer. So I knew it from the beginning, pretty much. But I didn't have the skill set creatively with making content, posting,
Mhm.
building a following, as you call it, or a community. I didn't know about any of that stuff. I just knew I had it. So,
Well, okay.
yeah, good.
Paul, take us through the protocol, the process. I'm new. I want to be part of your community. What do I have to do? What will happen once I join the community? Can you give us like a little protocol of
Yeah.
exactly what would happen? Because I'm sure people who are watching me like, okay, so what happens? What do I do next? What's going on?
Okay. Again, thank you for the question. Appreciate how you framed it up. So, I guess I got to do a better job of raising awareness on exactly how to join Crown Rest, because I know I speak generally a lot of times through Instagram or Facebook when I'm posting, speaking about the community. So an outsider or someone who's not a member kind of is like, what do you mean? What do I do? How do I join this? Right. So that makes a lot of sense. But you can find all the links in any of the bios with whichever platform you're on. So if you're on Instagram, you can find the link to our Patreon. But the the first part of it is joining our Patreon. So usually how it happens is anybody can click the link and sign up and join, and I'll reach out to them once they do join. But usually how it occurs is I get interest in one way or another, whether it's through a Facebook Messenger like you, where you reach out to me, or email. Um, whether it's a message to me or an interaction that I feel this person would be interested, then I'll ask them. I say, hey, you seem like you would be a great fit to join our community. I would love to set up a call to talk and hear more about you and your career, where you're looking to go, and how I can help, how we can help. So it's all about relationship building, right? So I prefer to meet everybody who joins because I look at our community as like a house, as like a home, as like village, right? So you want to
Mhm.
know everybody who's entering. You want to make sure we've established those positive that positive framework for how we communicate, how we think, how we act, how we treat everyone, how we support one another. So so yeah, once I set up a call, I run through, I hear about them. I and then I share everything that's involved in our community, because literally it takes me 15 minutes to tell them everything that we do. And I could go on probably longer if I really wanted to space it out. I don't want to be on the phone an hour and a half, but
Right,
I
right.
need I need a half hour
Exactly. Now, Paul, let me
because
ask you another question. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. What makes you different? Because I don't know how where you live, but I know out here in Massachusetts, what we do is we go, we sign up for a course, we're given a case book, you study the case book, you take the exam, then you do floor work. If you're set that you pass the floor test or floor work, whatever I guess the right frame of words to use, then you're given some games to more or less to pay for the course and the case book. And you start off usually doing freshman games. If you're lucky, maybe JVs. Then if you improve enough, eventually you'll get to that high school level. What makes your program, Crown Refs, different than what, at least in Massachusetts, what we would normally do to learn to become an official?
yeah, so I'm not in line or in comparison or should be viewed at as
Okay.
another option to getting certified, to becoming a ref, to be in good standing with your local board. I'm not the toll booth to become a ref, right? That happens locally, right? On your
Yeah.
board, or there's other channels you can go through IABO University,
Uh-huh.
right? So we are not your local board. We are a training platform and information epicenter and community scholarship fund. We are in between the rule book and what happens on the court. I want to meet officials there. I want to hear how they're, I want to be able to evaluate them. I want to be able to give them the tools and the resources. So when they've digested the rule book, a good understanding of that, then they can get guidance on play calling and communication and how to be in a better partner. All of the many components that it takes to be a ref, because you go in the course to learn the fundamentals, the very basics.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to
Yep.
be very
Mm-hmm.
simple, right? It's the black and white of the game, the rule book. But after that, it's like good luck. You learn the rules. Now go work. Well, then what?
That's right. That is true. That is definitely true. Something too, Paul, is that when you have your community and community based and you're doing your thing, do you go from the right from the beginning, or when do you intervene? I mean, because someone might come to you raw. They may know case book, they may know the rule book, but they don't know mechanics. Maybe they don't know floor positioning. I guarantee you, I might be exaggerating, about 50, 55% don't even know. Like if you say lead, trail, and center, they have no idea what we're talking about. So when you're doing your presentation and your training, how far back? Because I want the viewers who tuning in may not have the experience yet. They don't. Maybe they want to get into it, but they don't know what to expect.
The demographic that you're describing is maybe the new ref. To me, it sounded who like doesn't know three-person, doesn't know the basic fundamentals, nor is really interested. Maybe
That's
I,
true
I don't
too.
think I don't think that person ever makes it to me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so you asked about how I intervene. My content, I think, is the initial or intervention. They come to me, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones seeking
Okay.
training or
Mm-hmm.
the platform. Um, So I think the people that are joining Crown Refs are the officials that are hungry, that want to get better, that are looking outside their local association for training, are wanting to connect with other high risers that are going to go on to work D3, D2, D1, G
Right.
League,
Mm-hmm.
Pro, FIBA, hear their stories. So it's not so much my intervention. It's I think the people that are in Crown Refs are really seeking that higher instruction and that higher level of craftsmanship from an officiating perspective, training
Now,
perspective.
and something, Paul. I told you I'm old as dirt, but my inauguration to officiating is one of my best friends in the world. His name is Eric Brittle. He was an NBA referee. So when I went to him and I said I wanted to become an official, he said, "You sure?" I said, "Sure." I had no idea what I was in for, and his approach was totally different than your approach. If you know what I mean. I mean, he broke it down like the corner of the backboard, the angle should be right in the center of your chest. I mean, he went to that level. When he was in the NBA, he had they sent him a video, an hour tape just on block charge. Do you know what I mean? So that's how intense he took it to me. And that's how I learned, which was a rude awakening. And I see that's why when I saw you, I'm like, he does it the way I think a lot of people can relate to. Because I don't think if people had to deal with what I dealt with, they would have done left the game a long time ago. You know what I mean? But your approach and the way you break it down is so easy for the new person or someone who's just starting out. You know what I mean? And you know it, like anything else, you got to have confidence in yourself. And Eric would, I'll use him as an excuse, would break your confidence down, then build it up. You know what I mean? He'd break it down, then build it up. And it was beneficial to me, but that's not, I love the game. I played the game. I played collegiate level. So I want to remain part of the game. So it was nothing to me, but someone else who might be a beginner, I don't think they would be able to handle that. So what I want to ask you is, while I got you here, I want to pick your brain because I'm giving you your flowers right here because I got a big damn mouth. So I'm going to give you your flowers is the fact that what do you think? Because my supervisor, my producer, she's an AAU coach, so she asked me some questions. You know, I mean, I'll give her the answer or whatever. But anyway, what is your when you've been doing this for quite a while? What is the biggest thing you think? One of the biggest things you think of to educate, teach, instruct, interpret something that you find might be one of the most difficult things you do when you're instructing or training a newcomer or someone who wants to move up?
I just want to make sure I give you a good answer. I was following you all the way up to the very end, that last part. Could you just ask me exactly the question and one more time?
What was one of the hardest things you find when you're instructing and training up and coming referees? What do you think is the hardest thing to teach, interpret during your experiences? Because I got one.
Like, what do you think on my end? What I struggle or have difficulty with, or what is
Not
do
what
I
you have,
think
but what you have instructing others.
I think, well, just some of the biggest areas of officiating where I think we need help the most is communication with coaches and game management,
Mm-hmm.
especially newer officials stepping in. You basically almost have no chance if you're stepping into a difficult environment where there's unsportsmanlike coaches, which are everywhere. Uh,
Oh yes.
you could step into officiating and be in great shape and look the part and know how to run up and down and be in
Mm-hmm.
position. And you could do that right away. You could, there's a couple other, things you could get right away. You're not going to be good at communicating right away. I don't think. I really haven't seen anybody from the beginning, right? Like,
Right.
right. So it's a big, big hurdle, especially like on the high school level. I would like to think as you go up, you get better in every department. Um, so that's a huge one. The biggest one, in my opinion.
Okay.
And
Now,
yeah,
from my experiences, from my experiences, when I was just beginning, again, the block charge was kind of difficult, especially when it's a bang bang play. You understand what I'm saying. But a lot of people who might be tuning in don't understand what I'm saying. But a bang bang play, and then as a beginner, I'm gonna tell you one quick story if I may. I was officiating when I first began at the New Bedford Boys and Girls Club. I walk in, I'm new. Everybody knows me, but I'm new. I walk in, half the crowd is
still there.
black, the other half is white. One team's all black, one team's all white. So do you know how difficult? That's why I said you could referee at the New Bedford Boys and Girls Club. You can referee anywhere. But the thing I wanted to impress upon you and talk to you about is another thing. I'm sure
Still there,
you've
man?
dealt with it on many occasions when you're dealing with parents, coaches. One of the major things they'll say is like, well, damn it, he called it down there. How come you didn't call it down there? Even though you were in the area to make the call down there. But their response is, well, they called it down there. How come you didn't call it down there? It's the same play, which really is not the same play. How do you handle situations like that? Damn it, you call it down there. How come you didn't call it down here? I want to know how you handle that.
Anybody there? Anybody there?
You got me?
You got me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Back. Or I'm back. One of us is back. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying was, how do you handle a situation where you're officiating or you're telling one of your clients or trainees when a crowd or parent or someone says, our coach says, They made that call down there. How come you didn't make the same call down here? How do you handle that?
Hey, coach, calls can be similar, but they're never the same. But if the exact same play happens on the other end, then we'll have the exact same result. Did you have another question? Or do me a favor? I'm very approachable. If you have a question, please don't shout at me across the court. So I'm going to also determine how they speak, which is something that a lot of officials overlook. They're very quick to just answer the question. But the question, in my opinion, needs to be asked in a sportsmanlike manner for us to respond the way that they're that for us to answer the actual question that they're asking. That's one big strategy I have because I get to talk about what I want to talk about. And so do you.
Exactly, exactly. True
And
that.
so do they. And so do
Yeah,
they.
exactly, exactly, exactly. When y'all fish, well, when you again, because I've seen you in action, I already know how you are. But I'm doing this for the viewers. When y'all in a situation where you know the coaches are coming down on the officials, how important is it? This is important. How important is it that you and your fellow official, or if it's a three-man, the other two officials are on the same page? Can you let the viewers know how important it is? Because a lot of times, you know, and I know, damn, he missed that call, man. He ain't that good. You know what I mean? And then you already know you're setting them up for danger, him or her. You're setting them up. If you're a fellow rep, because that happens out here. You know, well, telling the coach, well, man, he's terrible, man. You know what I mean? He ain't that good. How do you handle situations like that? Because that will come up.
You're saying a partner is speaking to the coach saying my
Uh
partner's
huh.
terrible. I mean,
Yes.
well, now we're talking about a complete lack of professionalism, right? So that you would
Yes.
think we don't have to. You would think we don't have to have these type of conversations, right? But well, this gets into the topic of partnering. This is why I like to set up calls with people that enter my program because I don't want to work with people as you just mentioned,
Of course. No. No.
right? There's a common knowledge that I tell all my officials we want to be the best partner possible. You want to be the partner everybody wants to work with. You want to have your partner's back the most, no matter if they have your back. So even though this official, as you described, he could be talking bad about me to the coach, which is something I would never do. You'll never find me in a similar situation throwing my partner under the bus or speaking negatively about anybody. I think that's one of the reasons why people like my videos is because one of my main character traits, which I'm most proud of, is kindness. People think it's like a fluffy word, but it's actually a huge strength, and it shows up in the content and with all of the feedback because I truly just want to help people, and I don't ever speak bad about anyone. You won't find me talking bad about anyone in any form, not for a second, not for 1 second. Now that's I'm in the 1%. Most people won't. So this gets back to just being a great person, right? And we would never throw our partners under the bus to the coach. One of the lowest things we could do as refs.
You know, that's the reason why, Paul, I got you on the show because I seen your demeanor. Like I told you at the beginning, I see how you interact with your fellow officials. And to me, it's so important, especially the way the game is being played today. And where there's so much AAU involved and the parents acting up, going crazy. You're dealing with a lot of things that can be very negative to your character, which is, we all know that's a no-no. But a lot of these I guess the reason why I'm bringing this all up is because I find a lot problems exist because of the coaches and the parents. What do you think about that?
Yeah, now we're getting into why there's such a shortage of refs. and the mistreatment of refs.
Hmm.
We know where it's coming from. It's coming from the coaches, and it's coming from the stands. Spectators, parents, whatever you want to call them. It's coming from the stands and it's coming from the bench.
Yes.
This is why I have a whole content series and 15 podcast episodes and like an entire unit or chapter of my, you know, story as a mentor towards this conversation, towards game management, towards being able to run the game, being able to have the wherewithal, the integrity, the strength, the skills to be able to handle these situations and these difficult personalities. No one's good at handling difficult personality, or I shouldn't say no
Mhm.
one, a
Right.
very select few across various industries. Officiating is one of those industries where we deal with it and have the opportunity to be either terrible at it, decent, good. I mean, however you are at it, but it's not easy. It's not easy. So that's why I take a very firm approach when it comes to this conversation. And I want to build my officials up because we've taken so much trash and junk thrown at us. You've seen it. I don't have to tell you. You've watched it for decades. Whether it's changed, I don't know. It's always been bad and it's bad now. So we need more voices. I respect you for getting on camera and wearing your jersey and trying to
Of
reach
course.
officials and basketball fans and being a voice. So
Officiating has been so good to me, playing as well, and I've come across so many relationships and met so many people through officiating and playing as well. And to me, it's I don't know. I guess it's you got to really love it. You got to really love it. And as players, coaches, you have good games and bad games. Some games that you got to bounce back. That's like a player. You may have a bad game. You want to bounce back. And officiating, might have been like, well, I kicked that call to yourself. I kicked that call, but I want to make sure I make the next one. But sometimes that's not always the correct answer either. You want to try to be consistent throughout the officiating process as well. But you want to try to do your best. Now, here we go. I got to ask, because I got to pick your brain. Okay. You made a bad call and you know you did. You know you did. Maybe because the crowd, maybe you just overreacted. How do you get back your focus if in a situation like that does occur?
well, okay, just backtrack. If you find yourself saying I made a bad call consistently, number one, maybe you're making too many bad calls.
Right? True.
So stop doing that. Um, and you got to be self-aware. So that's important. But this gets into the topic of self-talk. Like, what are you saying to yourself throughout the game? If we recorded your self-talk and put it down on paper for us to read, like you produce thoughts throughout the game. We could That'd be cool to see what you think about, right? That so it's
Right.
important that you are filling your head with positive self-talk throughout the game. This way, if you have the blow of a missed call, well, you've already established that routine of next play mentality. So having a growth mindset, being a forward thinker, not being a dweller, um, not caring that much about a mistake as much as, I don't want to sound insensitive, but it's just one play. You're going to have a million plays if you ref a
Of
long
course.
career.
Right.
So why would you dwell on what already happened and that you can't change? It's the same thing when a coach wants to talk about a play. The play is over. It's not getting changed. So how do you move on from a tough call? you could you just say next play. Like, be grateful that you're even able to ref, that you're healthy enough to run up and down the court, to get paid to be in stripes. Um, Next play mentality, just like players, would the coach would tell them, just get back on defense, because you can't think about previous plays and you can't think about future plays. You got to be in the moment. You got to be in that possession. Just got to be where your feet are.
That's a great answer, and I didn't expect anything less. But I'm gonna give you another scenario. Let's say we're doing two man, just a two man. I'll go easy. Doing a two man, and say you're the lead, I'm the trail, for example, and I'm calling fouls in your designated area. How do you handle that? You being the lead, and the call is right in your immediate area. Now I know what your answer is going to be, but tell the viewers what you think. I
No,
know
I
what your
want to
answer is
hear.
going to be, but
I want to hear my answer from you. What's my answer through you?
what I would say now, if my vision is blocked off and the trail makes that call because maybe my vision is blocked off through whatever happens, I don't have a problem with that. But to me, if the trail is looking in your area, he's not watching his area. So to me, they should be intertwined. It should be like a rope. You know what I mean? In my eyes, it should be like a rope where you got eye contact. But the only way I would think that would be either you don't have confidence in your partner. Because, for example, when I'm refereeing with Eric, NBA referee, when we do games, whatever, I already know he got that. I can concentrate on my responsibility and my floor coverage and my angles, etc. If I'm with somebody who may not be that, it might not saying me, but it might be an individual. He's not that good. Maybe I better watch his area as well as watch mine. How do you handle that?
So I'll answer it from like an emotional or a mindset
Okay.
perspective, and not like an X's and O, primary,
Okay.
secondary. Um,
Okay.
there's nothing you could do there, and nor is there anything that I think you really should do in game. Maybe halftime, you guys can definitely discuss things, but from my experience and in my observation, I think it's best to not, number one, not judge your partner's calls. So if you call something right in front of me, I got what you got, Michael.
That's awesome.
I got what you got, Mike.
That's awesome.
But we have to relinquish our ego, though.
Ah,
If you're showing ego, then it's
yeah.
gonna hurt. I think I think I have one of the most impressive games ever of a partner calling in my primary and me just being cool, calm, and not bothered by it. I think it probably happened over 20 times, and it's not an exaggeration. And
Wow.
it was on consecutive possessions. I mean, what am I gonna do? Go up to him and be like, partner, you gotta let me, you gotta trust me. Like, I'm sure many people would. And in that situation, it was a lower level game. So it's not like I was working an important game. It was a lower level game, and that's going to happen on the lower levels. But I tell my officials all the time, because you hear them, you hear this conversation a lot.
I
You
know.
know, officials coming out of there, coming from secondary, right in front of you, and a lot of refs don't like it, and they get slowed down by it. So I don't want to get slowed down by any part of the game. I don't want to get confused. So this can confuse a lot of refs where they call it right in front of you and you start scratching your head like you missed something. I say, no, you stay confident. You know, called it. Whatever you got, you got. If they have something different, well, you could trust them and you could review it on film. And then you could really know. And then you could take that information with you the next game and be better from it. But I don't get into the whole calling in my area. I think this is a very, um, you know, high school conversation with refs. You don't see it much on the college level.
From my experiences, I think what can eliminate a lot of those problems is the pregame. I think a lot of times if you do it pregame, you kind of can go over what things you should and shouldn't be priority, and I think that can alleviate a lot of problems. Sometimes during in game, you really can't control, but sometimes I think with in the pregame, you can kind of go over some things. That way, you guys can more or less, eye contact. I mean, very important eye contact. What am I telling you for? You already know. But I'm talking about eye contact, pregame. I think those things can definitely be beneficial to your partner or partners.
Mhm.
Well, just, I didn't get no feedback on that, but anyway, what I want to know is we got like a few minutes left. Is there anything that maybe I did not ask you, or something that you want to convey to the viewers that
Yes.
maybe you wanted to bring up that was very important that maybe I didn't bring up? Of course, you can talk about your crown refs. This is for you. We got about 10-15 minutes. You can say whatever you want because this is going to
Well,
be shown all over. So.
I appreciate that. And I got about 5 left, if that's okay with you, because I do have to get home. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, thanks for the question. I would like to share about the next chapter of Crown Refs, which is
Okay.
now in-person events in the form of the Crown Refs Skill Development Clinic. I'm going to start doing these in the New England area. So this is good that I'm on this call. I like the way this worked out. So thank you. But these are going to be small group clinics that happen every month. The first one is April 12th. We're going to be in Berlin, Connecticut. So I'll be on a court from 8 to 5 that day. AAU games, high school. It'll be a high school setting. But I'll have 9 officials there. The refs will get to work 2 games. I'm going to bring a staff of probably 5 to 8 other, community members, coaches, to support the 9 officials that'll be there. When you go to camp, there's a lot of, camps can vary in size, but a lot of the ones I went to, 100 people, 150 people, 75 people. So I wanted to make sure I did something very small and exclusive.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there'll be 9 officials there that day. They'll get to work 2 games. We'll have a morning like coffee meet and greet where we'll get to hang out and get to know each other for an hour before the games. They'll get to ask unlimited questions to me and the rest of my team throughout the day. We're gonna ask them to bring a lot of their clips on their phone. The clips are short plays from their games that they've recorded, screen recorded, and saved and shared. So that's a good way to break down film, if you're not in person or in person. So they'll be showing us their plays throughout the day. Then at 3 o'clock, after the 6 games are over, we're going to go into a breakout room. We're going to watch more film on a big screen. We're going to do signal school, which is my signaling course where I work with officials on improving their signals and mechanics and form. That'll be about a 45-minute session. Then we're going to work on their communication skills through our session, as I mentioned, called rapid responses, which is, what to say to a coach, how to say it, when to say it, what to respond to, the whole mental approach, way more than just what to say. It's a whole playbook and blueprint. So they'll get that information in a closed group setting. And then the last 40, hour, we're going to have a dinner and we're going to have a health and fitness forum over the dinner. One of the new things I've added to Crown Refs and to my life is being dialed in with my nutrition. I'm coming at you from a gym right now, finishing my workout, hopped on the call with you. So in this, part of my clinic where I want to make health and nutrition a big part of it too, because it's something that's hugely overlooked in officiating and just through the general public. So that's another skill or another feature I'm bringing to my program. So we'll finish the day with that very informative health forum. And then hopefully next month in May, we'll do another clinic with more officials. Maybe we'll go to 12 or 15. And I'll slowly grow my clinics each month. And eventually that will, I think, land me in a, with a camp, or they'll just be clinics and short, small things. I don't know. We'll see the way it plays out. But I'm excited about this new chapter of going in person, because I've been a content creator for 6 years now, and I've done hundreds of Zooms, and I've been obviously at camp, and you see the videos where in the camp setting. But to have my first, the first Crown Refs clinic educational event, I'm super, super, super happy and blessed to be able to do. So thanks for the opportunity to share that.
Well, Paul, again, I want to thank you for coming on my show. Now, for the people who are viewing, our viewing audience, how do they get in touch with you, or how can they look at some of the videos that I had the pleasure of watching? How can they be able to locate, download, get in touch about Crown Refs, Paul Disparra, Pink, Mr. Pink, and all that? How can they go about getting in touch or getting some information about what you're doing and how you're doing it?
Well, Mr. Pink has moved on, but we wish him the best. So I won't give you his contact, but yeah, here's my phone number for your audience. My phone number, if you want to write it down, 845-742-0834. You can text me if you want. My email is crownrefs@gmail.com. Feel free to shoot me an email. I try to keep it simple on social. It's pretty much Crown Refs, I think, across all platforms. So just type that into any one you're on. You can find us there. If you wanted to join the community, you can go over to Patreon, which is the platform we use for that. You can find the link to that in any one of my bios, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram. There's a lot of other things we offer. You can find in the link in bio, my link tree. So that's on our Instagram and our Facebook as well. Would love to set up a call if anyone in your audience is interested in joining, or you can join at patreon.com/Crown Refs. Also, to be able to come to one of the clinics we're doing, you got to be a member of the Crown Refs community on Patreon. Or at least for early registration, the way it's playing out there. So those are, I'm available. I'm speaking to a lot of people every day across a lot of different, platforms and apps. So blessed to be busy.
Well, Paul, it's been a pleasure having you on. I hope the viewers got some insight as to what's going on in Crown Refs and what you're doing. And I think this video will be going nationwide, so hopefully it can benefit you in Crown Refs. And again, I want to thank you for coming on my show, and it's been a blast and a pleasure. Thank you so much, and may you have everything that you deserve.
You as well, my friend. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great weekend. Thank you to everybody listening, and stay blessed, stay happy, stay positive.
Take care, my friend.
Later.
Peace. Folks, it's been an honor and a pleasure having Paul Disparra on my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I've been a referee for damn near over 40 years, and I wanted him to come on and give his perspective on what he's doing and what he has done. And as you guys can see, his demeanor is so critical and crucial when you're dealing with coaches and parents. And I wanted him to come on and give his perspective, and I think he did a tremendous job. Folks, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Sports Wave Network and my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. We try to have some good content, but I also have people who make an impact. I think Paul Disparra has definitely made an impact, and I'm very happy that he came on my show to give you guys some insight. So y'all take care. God bless. I will see you next week on Sports Wave Network and my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. Until then, take care. God bless and stay safe.